Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going back to yesteryear for a game of set collection and animal gathering. This is Schweinebande. In this game, which translates to Gang of Pigs, we are going to be sending out our little wooden workers, collecting animal tiles, and then trading in sets of those animal tiles for victory points. Get the most victory points after 4 rounds, and you win the whole thing. It's a pretty straightforward game. A couple of phases in each round, but basically family-style set collection. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it works, down on the table, and I'll see you back up here for some final thoughts. Here we're taking a look at the game for 3 players. We're going to be playing the game over 4 rounds, and at the end of those 4 rounds, whoever has the most points is going to be the winner. You are going to be scoring those points by making sets of animals. So each round goes like this. We shuffle up all these tiles at the beginning of the game. We're going to lay these out face down, and we pick a start player. It'll be yellow here. We'll go yellow, then red, then blue. That'll be the starting turn order. On your turn, you are going to select one of these tiles out here. You are going to reveal that tile. It'll most likely show you an animal with a value. There are some in here which are sacks of feed, like grain feed bags, but mostly they are animals. And then the yellow player gets to make a choice after they reveal one. You can place a worker on there and claim that tile, or they can choose not to do that yet. Okay, they will not do it. And so they reveal one, they choose not to, it goes to the red player. The red player will reveal one, and they will go ahead and place one on there. And now we go to the blue player. The blue player will reveal this one. Wow, these seem to be all coming up the same. Blue will also not place. Goes back to yellow. Yellow will reveal this one. Yellow will not place. Goes back to red. Red is going to reveal that, and red is going to claim that one. We go to blue, who reveals. Oh, that's a very good one, so they'll claim that. Back to yellow. Yellow reveals, yellow claims, and this continues. And now, for example, red would go, so red might reveal, say, this one. Ooh, a nice piggy. They'll claim that, and as you see, they are out of their workers, so they will take the lowest value token left out there, in this case, the 1. Now we'll go, I'll finish this out just so you see how this goes. Oh, it's a feed bag, so blue will take that. Back to yellow over here, who is going to select perhaps this one. They'll take it. We're skipping red since they are out of people, so we go back to blue. Blue will reveal, wow, great job shuffling. And then they'll take the 2 since they're out now, and then we go to yellow. And yellow now, since they are the last player, could continue revealing things until they finally place this last one. So yellow could reveal this one, choose not to take it. They could reveal this one, choose not to take it, reveal that, and maybe they'll take that. So now they're done. Once everyone is done and everyone has a position here, then we'll reveal the rest of them so we see what's still out there. And then we will go to the next phase, which is claiming these tiles to put in front of ourselves. So we will start with the player who has the number 1, then the number 2, and so on. And on their turn, they're going to select one of the workers out there and claim what that worker can claim. So number 1, which is red. Red is going to claim a line when you choose to claim. That line is ended by other workers and ended by the edge of the board. Not ended, though, by empty spaces. So red is going to take this line right here because this worker is sitting there. So they'll retrieve the worker, and they will claim all of these tiles here. And they'll put that just in front of themselves. Each player also has one of these tiles, by the way, matching their color. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. In fact, I'll just barely slide it in here for the sake of the color, for helping me remember which color is where. So there we go. So red goes, and now we go to blue. Blue might, for example, claim this line right here, and it'll go over the empty space, stop at other workers, and take what they're on and everything touching that. So they'll take this one, they'll take this one, and take back their worker. Now we go to yellow, who had the number 3, and yellow will perhaps take this line here. They'll take those. This continues until the players have taken all of the tiles that they can take. Red takes. Blue will take these two here. Yellow will take these two here. Like so. Then we go to red, who takes these. Blue, who takes these. Oh, maybe they'll do that, so the yellow can't get it. And then yellow only can take that one. Anything left over is simply gone. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes it happens. And now we go to the final phase of the turn, in which the players are going to deal with the animals they just took, plus possibly some they carried over. So let me go ahead and scoot that out of the way here. So this is Red's haul. This is what they took. And they will be able to sort that. To score in this game, you need to have 4 of a kind. There's 2 ways to score. 4 of a kind will score, like these goats right here. The red player could choose to score them. You would take one of them, flip it face down, score it, get rid of the other 3 out of the game. The other option that you can use to score is having 1 of each, from 2 up to 7. And then you score the highest, and you discard 1 of each. In this case, they have a 2, and they have a 3, but no 4, and no 7, which is this one right here. So they will simply do that. They're going to go ahead and score this. They'll get rid of those. Each player is going to do this, by the way. And then the last thing you need to do on your turn is feed every animal you've got left. In order to do that, you can simply do it with a feedback. That feeds everything one time. You get rid of this. That's it. But assuming they didn't have this, they need to feed all these animals. They each eat 1. And this is the food they'll eat here. You can make food, however, by trading in the animal for an amount of food equal to their value. So, for example, this player might trade in this number 3 and this number 2 for 5 feed. And from those 5, they will need to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, letting them save these animals and carry this one through to the next round. But we'll take more tiles, fill the board again, and start from the beginning of the round, starting with the player who had the 1 going normally around the table. That continues through 4 rounds, like I said. At the end of the game, the pigs will have a special scoring condition on the very last 4th round. And that is, if you score a set of 4 of them, you will keep 2 and discard 2 instead of only scoring 1. The special pig bonus for the end of the game, or near the end of the game. Once you do all of your scoring at the end of the game, you will need to feed everything you've got left one last time. And then if you still have at least 4 animals, say for example, I've got these 4 animals here. Let's just say I've got that left over at the end. Assuming I've already fed them, then I could still score a mismatched set of 4 of anything, but I keep the lowest thing. So I would keep that and discard these. Then we all add up the value of the animals we have scored here on our board, and whoever has the highest total is the winner of the game. And that's the game. So this is a game that originally came out in 2010. So it's got a few years now, and it's one I had not played before. It's one that I had simply not been aware of. It's a game from designer Stefan Dora, who is a designer I'm familiar with, and whose games I tend to enjoy. And this one was a lovely surprise. It is classic in many of its sensibilities. It is that comes with good and bad. Classic as in simple, streamlined. It really condenses down what you can do to a few manageable things. And also classic as in typical theme, typical trappings, which are not always positive, all right? So let's go ahead and break it down, starting from the top with the theme and the setting. It's just not very exciting. It's classic Eurogame stuff. Medieval setting, animals, a little confrontation, but nothing too bad. There's some neat interaction in the game as you are placing your worker. You can choose to go right next to someone else's worker and block off access to that line in that direction, which I thought was a nice bit of indirect interaction. I really enjoyed that. But generally, the theme here works fine, nothing to write home about. The aesthetics, on the other hand, are lovely. Again, nostalgic in many ways, but the cardboard quality is very good. Artwork is lovely. Nice wooden bits. Not too many wooden bits, but the ones that are here are great. And then a single fold board with just, one fold in it, which is very sturdy, lays nice and flat, so no issues there. And again, I really do enjoy the artwork here. Replay value. Well, it's okay. I think the tiles are random, but the gameplay will feel largely the same. And it's more about, and we'll talk a bit about this when we get to tactics and luck and strategy, but it's more about how you want to tackle this slightly modified puzzle you've been presented than it is about trying something, wildly different from game to game. So the replayability isn't that high. Now, I will say the scalability, I think, is good. I think the game scales nicely from 2 to 4 players. But as far as staying fresh for a long time, I'm not sure I see that happening. The game arc. The flow of the game, how is it too long or too short? Does it work out well? I think 4 rounds is very good. There are interesting decisions that build upon one another from round to round. Many games that are cyclical in nature, that have multiple rounds like this, often don't carry out interesting decisions or previous choices from one to the next. And this one you do, because you need to likely keep some of those animals that you drafted this round, and then decide how to feed them, and which ones you keep, and when you score. You could keep a scoring set if you so chose, and feed those animals to score them later. Mainly the pigs, of course, because the pigs are going to give you a bonus at the end of the game. But you have to decide when you want to do that. Is it worth to feed these pigs for 2 more rounds just to score 2 of them at the end? And I like that. And again, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to replayability. It's really those decisions you are deciding, but they are generally pretty straightforward things to make up your mind on. So I find the game arc to be pleasant. Quick playing game, smooth and straightforward, and some neat things to think about as the game evolves to its conclusion. Next up, ease of play. Again, very smooth. I like that the turn order here matters, but I also like that they don't do the usual trope of the numbers of those tiles which we drafted the previous round is the order of play for the next round. It's just, we just start the new round with whoever has the number 1 token here, and then we go around the table as normal. It'd be too much of a hassle and ultimately sort of meaningless to have to remember, I took the 1, you took the 2, so you're second, but you took the 3, so you're third, and then you'll go, and then I go back to 1, 2. That's too much of a mess. So I like that. The game is a clean turn breakdown. Flip over a tile. You like it? Do you want it? You want to claim it? No? Yes? Next. And then you take turns taking those things. So, very smooth. And then lastly, tactics, luck, strategy, which I enjoyed. I thought that it was a largely tactical game. There's some luck as to where these tiles end up, of course, but that's a big part of the game, is that push your luck, reveal a tile, and see if you want to claim it. You have a limited amount of workers. I love the push and pull between looking at more tiles by flipping one over and not claiming it, and letting more things be revealed, letting your opponents play first so you can play actively, right? And perhaps block them, perhaps take something from them. But if you do that, you'll go later in the claiming. You'll take a lower number in the claiming, therefore your opponents will claim entire lines before you get to claim one. Or do you just flip, good enough, put yourself out there, and then be first when the claiming comes around? I really like that those two things at odds with one another every round is neat. I already talked about feeding, how you do that, when you do it. Turn order being very interesting. It's again sort of binary choices in many ways, but they are fun and tactical things to decide upon. So this is one I was pleasantly surprised by. I think the pig bonus scoring is not too much of an outlier rule that I find it problematic. It's a little twist at the end to tie it with the theme of the game. That's cute. That works out fine. But it's not, there aren't exceptions for every kind of animal or anything like that. That'd be too much rules overhead. It's just the pigs. You score them for twice what you would during that final fourth round. I can handle that, and I can teach that easily. So there you go. That is Schweinebande. This one is going to get from me a nice solid 7 out of 10. That's a seal of approval. I like it. I think it's a nostalgic game in a way. It reminds me of these slightly older, more innocent almost Euro games that didn't need to reinvent the wheel. They just needed to provide you with some fun tactics and a quick playing time, a digestible game with a little indirect confrontation, some fun, some tactics, and that's kind of all you needed. That was enough. This one feels that way to me. So I enjoy it. 7 out of 10, like I said, seal of approval. And that's going to do it for me, everybody. My name is Zee Garcia. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.